So, 2024 hasn't been the best year for movies that have been coming out recently. I mean, in February, on Valentine's Day, we got Madam Web. And if you've seen any of my videos before, I mostly talk about, like, anime movies and video games. I actually did a review of Madam Web just because it was a horrible movie that I had to give my thoughts of it off my chest. I'll leave a link to it below if you want to check it out. But recently, I saw another movie yesterday that I really was excited to see, but it was awful. Like, the movie I want to talk about can be described by Dwayne Johnson as, I think this is the best way to summarize the movie. So, I'm gonna let the great Dwayne Rock Johnson describe it.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
The movie that I want to talk about is A Quiet Place Day 1, which is the prequel to the very first Quiet Place, which was a masterpiece. I love the very first one. It's very intense. It has a great cast to it. John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, who are married in real life and play a married couple in this movie. They hide from aliens. It's so great. And it just feels danger to it. It has such a great story to it. It's like a strained relationship as part of it between a father and son, because the son was killed by one of the aliens that invaded Earth, and the daughter blames herself because she gave the son a toy, which he activated, and the aliens in A Quiet Place are attracted to sound, so that before the dad could save the kid, the alien reaches and kills their son. The daughter blames herself, but she also thinks that her father hates her from now on throughout the whole movie, and honestly, you kind of would think the dad would be a douchebag, but he's awesome because he, like, totally understands the whole thing was an accident. He doesn't blame his daughter at all. What happened, happened. It was nobody's fault. And it's just a whole movie that is kind of like she's scared of him until like the very end of the movie, basically. But it's a movie based on survival that has such intense moments to it that you can't look away. And A Quiet Place Day 1 takes all of this, and, well, it takes like the intensity of the movie and the feeling of survival and just throws it out the window and makes it trash. The movie opens up with this lady, I guess like she's in this self-need group, I guess. Kind of like just like a group where people get together and talk about their problems. She says she's written a poem, how shitty the place is, how it smells like shit, how people shit their pants, things like that. And the leader of the group says, that was really mean of you, you didn't have to do that. And she's like, hey, some people thought it was funny. And she gets invited to go out to this show, and she asks, is there going to be pizza after? And the guy's like, yeah, we'll get pizza after. So she does go to the show, and it turns out to be like, not a movie or anything, just like this guy playing with marionettes, and the music to it is awesome. Like, the music is probably the movie's strongest appeal to it, because it's very, like, majestic. It keeps you glued to what's happening. I like the music a lot. But she gets bored with it, and she leaves. And, like, she goes to this drugstore, buys a candy bar, comes back, and she hears that they have to get back to the city right away because something's going down. And she's like, hey, you said we'd get pizza! You said we get pizza! You totally lied to me! And she's totally being a bitch to this guy. And the guy's like, okay, calm down. I don't want to fight. I'm your friend. And she responds with, you're not my friend, you're a nurse. And it totally hurts the guy's feelings, which I I felt bad for him, but also kind of like almost laughed at that because she was just rude to him and he said nothing. But anyway, like, it's good up to this point, and then the aliens arrive. That's when it goes downhill. She gets on the bus that all the other, like, handicapped people got on to get to the theater. Then all these meteorites strike the city of New York, and she gets thrown against the window, bus is knocked out. And when she comes to, she wakes up, she's coughing, and then this hand just goes over her mouth. And it's a man, like, motioning for her to be quiet, just, like, putting a finger over his mouth, like, you know, just, shh, be quiet. And, they all meet in this theater, they're all being super quiet, then her cat runs off, and this part was kind of, it made me tense. Like, the cat's like a dog at the theater door, like, it's pawing at the door trying to get out, and this alien is like, this part was pretty good, well done. Like, this alien is kind of like just walking along the doors, and then the cat finally gives up on trying to get out, and it starts walking back toward the lady, and as it's walking, it brushes against one of the bells of the Hat of the Puppet, and the bell makes the jingling sound, and the alien crashes through the door, and the lady, she grabs the cat, and she's able to hide before that alien could find her. So that part was kind of intense. I liked that part. And then we get a scene where, like, her and her nurse are, like, just sitting in the hallway. She writes down that she's gonna be going to Harlem. And, the guy, her nurse is like, why are you going to Harlem? And she just writes back to get pizza. And then the power goes out and the back generators go on. And it's just creating so much noise. They go out to stop it. And the guy, he's able to turn it off. But he catches his shirt on the machine and it rips. And it does a pretty cool cliche thing. It's cliche, but it's well done. Because he turns around and it's one of the aliens right behind him. And it jumps and takes him out. That's his last scene, but it's a good scene. So far, the movie is still being good, but it's starting to slow down to get to a pace that's barely watchable. So, for some reason, all these people that were in the theater, they go out to look what's going on. And all the aliens that crashed into New York, they start swarming everybody. You get this giant, chaotic Independence Day / War of the World scene where everyone's freaking out. And she ends up being knocked down. She loses her cat. The cat runs away. And what's cool is there's a scene where she's hiding under this car. And a random guy just grabs onto her. And he's like, help me! Help me! And he gets pulled away from one of the aliens. It pins her leg under the car, but she's able to somehow, like, lift the car off from under her. She gets out from it, and she ends up just hiding behind this alley while everyone's dying from the aliens. And afterwards, we get the scene where the cat's going through the rubbish of the city. Like, it finds a mouse, it starts to chase. Then it gives up on chasing the mouse. And so, like, you get this subway entrance that's just flooded. And so it's starting to get some water. And then randomly, I don't know how it happened, but this guy, like, pops out of the water. And he's just, we get this awkward scene of him just, like, looking at the cat. And the cat looking at him. Like, it's like, you my guardian angel? It's really weird. So, the cat returns to the main lady, and, like, it's also the man, he follows the cat to her, and the man has nothing to enjoy about him. Like, even the character, the main girl, she doesn't like him. Like, he's just following her through the city, and, like, for every few seconds, she's, like, just doing this, just shooing him off, like, telling him to go away, get out of here. But for some reason, he just keeps following her. And eventually they go to her apartment because I guess she's like diabetic or she has like cancer or something. I don't know what. I think she has cancer. But they end up talking like she wants to get pizza because apparently like her hometown is Harlem, and whenever her dad would take her out, the two of them would go out to get pizza at this one pizzeria, and that's where she wants to go. And we find out that the man, his name's Eric, apparently like his family's in Kent in England, and I think he's there for a law school, so he has like no family in New York. So that's the reason he's following her, just because, like, I guess she has a purpose and he doesn't. Doesn't really make sense. But, yeah. Anyway, they end up spending the night at the lady's apartment. And in the morning, she leaves him asleep at her apartment to go to Harlem. And somehow he's able to find them again, and they connect up with each other, and sorry, I think I like fell asleep, because like, I didn't understand it. Like, the next scene they were in these sewers, and they're being hunted by this alien, and they get out of the sewer, they like get out of the sewers climbing through this one church, and finally they're in Harlem. And she gets out, she's going to the pizzeria, which she sees has been destroyed from the aliens crash landing. And it's just her, and then he goes and hugs her, and they're just both like crying in the street while fire's coming up from the sewer. It's really stupid. So after seeing the devastation that her pizzeria has been destroyed, that she's spent the whole movie trying to get to. Oh, like, everyone's evacuating from these aliens, like the bridges have been destroyed to keep the aliens from getting into the city, and people are taking these ferries to get out of the city, and she decided not to get onto the ferry to get out of there because she wants to get her pizza. And now that there's no chance of getting pizza, Eric's just like, show me where your dad performed. And they go to the Blue Jazz Club, and he decides to leave her there while he doesn't really say why he's leaving, but he comes back with a 99-cent pizza store that he found. And so they finally have pizza, they play card games, and that's it. Eventually, like, the cat runs away, and, like, Eric goes after it, and we get this, like, total scene that looks like it should be something from War of the Worlds. I mean, it's, like, half human, half alien looking, and, he got this one alien who breaks open this, like, egg sack, I guess, and he calls to the other aliens, and they start eating, and, yeah, like, he makes noise, this alien, like, appears next to him. It's supposed to be super tense, it's super stupid. But yeah, he ends up getting the cat and getting back to the lady, but, yeah, really dumb. What happens at the end is what pisses me off the most. I mean, like, this girl, like, the director's literally like, okay, they've accomplished their main goal, let's get rid of them now. And the lady that wanted the pizza, she, like, the last ferry is leaving out of the harbor, and the lady just, like, she gives Eric her jacket, and then she gives Eric her cat, and then tells him to run, and she grabs this, like, jack wrench, or crowbar or whatever, and she starts, like, bashing up all these cars to get the aliens to come to her, and give Eric, like, a chance to run and get onto the ferry, because the ferry stopped. The people told him to stop the boats! And, it's pointless because as Eric's running to the ferry, he like kicks a can, and like that all of the aliens for some reason, just because of that one can kick, they stop chasing the girl and start chasing him. And he eventually he's able to reach the end of the pier. He jumps off into the water with the cat, and the cat. That could not have been a real cat, because if that was a real cat, like, I feel like it would be super mad. It was drenched. It would be clawing at Eric's face. It would be trying to swim away on its own. But just like, cool, I'm wet. Anyway, Eric gets onto the boat with the other survivors, and they're like, it's okay. You're safe. And Eric's just like, I'm safe. And he finds a note in his pocket. It's just the girl. She's saying like, Eric, please live for the both of us. Take care of my cat. Don't feed him too much. He'll get fat. Please make something of your life. Thank you for bringing me home. The last scene is like the girl, she has this like boombox. She's listening to, I think it's Michael Bublé, It's a Good Life. And she unplugs it, so like, she's just listening to it on earbuds at first, then she unplugs it, so like, it's super loud with Michael Bublé singing, and an alien appears behind her, assumingly kills her, and that's the end. If I were to give this movie... I'm sorry, but I gotta give it, like, out of 5 stars, I'd give it a 2. It was so slow. Nothing was happening. Like, one of the promotional posters was, "Hear how it all started." And, like, it's like, I get it's a play on words, because it's like, they can't talk. But it's nothing like how it all started, how that would... I guess it's kind of like how it would lead into A Quiet Place Part 1. Just based in New York instead of out in the country. But it explains nothing like why the aliens are there in the first place. Like, are the aliens a part of like a cult or something that they want to destroy all life that makes sounds on different planets? It makes no sense why the aliens are there in the first place. Also, the only thing I really liked about it was that her cat's name is Frodo, which I'm assuming is for Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. But, like, the cat was the only good part of the movie, which kind of sucks because it felt like it was really kind of like edited out of place, kind of like here and there. It really jumped. Like some scenes, like she would have the cat and then something terrible would happen at the end of the scene. Next scene she wouldn't have the cat. The very next scene she had the cat. Stuff like that. It felt very, very like inexperienced filmmaking. The first 2 movies, Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2, were directed by John Krasinski, who is awesome. He's an actor that I really like Jim Halper from The Office. He did great with this. He did an amazing job with Quiet Place Part 1. Such a good job playing the dad in that movie. And just with this movie, it was a big flop. Like, I don't know how it got such good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I think critics gave it like an 86, and audience gave it like a 77. It got pretty good reviews, but I don't know how it got that. Anyway, Quiet Place Part 1, giant dumper. 2 thumbs down, guys. It's just a horrible movie. Anyway, that is what I gotta say. So yeah, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys found this somewhat informative. You might think twice about going to see Quiet Place Part 1, Day 1, because it's just a really bad movie. It's really boring. But yeah, please, if you made it this far, please give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, that's it. We'll see you next video, guys.